I was the real heiress, MIA, who was switched at birth. At my first birthday party back in the family mansion, the fake heiress, Lily, spilled the cake my brother Ben handed to me. I heard the guests whispering around me, while my fiancé Matt and Ben's faces turned cloudy. Lily just walked away like she hadn't done anything. As I watched her leave, a vision from my past life flashed before me. I saw the look in her eyes when she smiled while pushing me out of the fire. Tears streamed down my face as people tried to comfort me, and I stared at the cake on the floor. No one knew the cake was poisoned, just like my life in the past. The grand hall soared high, with a majestic ceiling reaching the sky. The rich scent of rosemary filled the air. I stood in the middle, feeling like a puppet being pushed into the crowd by the father I had just recognized. I was the true heiress in a dramatic tale, stolen away by the fake Lily, who ended up becoming a scorned outcast upon my return. MIA, come here. My father waved at me under dazzling lights, his smile like a serpent's, sharp and calculating. I felt anger rising, threatening my sanity, as I moved towards the familiar stranger beside him. MIA, here's your birthday gift. Why are you standing there? Come have some cake. This was Ben, my biological brother, offering me a cake that looked really tempting. The man beside me smirked as he watched the drama unfold. Bam! Before Ben could hand it to me, a figure rushed forward, knocking the cake to the ground. The frosting splattered on the marble floor. Ben stood stunned, his face turning cold. Lily, it's your sister's party. Stop making a scene. I know you're upset Mia's back, but you're still part of our family. Ben's explanation was diplomatic, but I knew he was stirring tension between Lily and me, stating the obvious that she was the fake. With a scoff, Lily glanced at me one last time before leaving the hall. Ben lost his composure, and my fiancé Matt looked disgusted at the mess. I lowered my gaze, and tears soon trickled down my face. Father and Ben offered lukewarm comfort, while Matt wrapped an arm around me tenderly. Lily's always been that way, MIA. Try to be understanding, Father said. I looked up, watching Lily's silhouette disappear, but my mind was on how she once saved me from the fire, whispering, MIA, this house is a dangerous place. If you get out alive, run far away. The fire consumed her, burning my fragmented memories. I woke up shaking. You okay? You just passed out on the street. A familiar voice pulled me from my thoughts. I turned, trembling. Jack, long time no see. In my past life, I naively loved wrong, lost my looks, and Lily got trapped by Ben. Jack's family was ruined by Ben. After Lily died, I left for freedom and died alone. Jack, devastated when I left, was later imprisoned by the Xiao family. Yet those who deserved the worst just climbed back from hell, while those who loved me couldn't come back to life. Seeing my tearful eyes, Jack hurriedly rang for assistance. Are you okay? If Ben's mistreating you, tell me. Realizing he'd overstepped, he stopped, wary of discussing someone else's family matters. Once a confident New Yorker, Jack now tread lightly and cautiously. I held back tears, feigned ignorance. Who are you? How do you know my name? Jack paused, the tension fading as he turned away, like a scolded pup. I'm Jack. We met at a party 2 months ago. A cliché love at first sight happened to us. I nodded politely. Sorry, I didn't remember. Mind adding me on Facebook? His eyes lit up as he fumbled with his phone, but then Lily barged in, icy as ever with her crockskin purse, glaring at Jack. What are you two doing? Caught in an awkward scene, Jack shielded me, retorting, what's it to you? You're just the fake heiress. Stay out of it. Pulling his sleeve, I worried, but Lily ignored him, walking towards me in her heels. Why'd you faint on the street? Before I could respond, Jack spoke up. She lived in the countryside so long, it's no wonder she'd have health issues. Unlike a privileged heiress like you. My fist clenched as I stared daggers at Jack, conflicted about keeping him as a boyfriend. Lily remained calm. Let me handle my business, then I'll leave. Jack was taken aback, and I suddenly felt inferior next to Lily's poised presence. Her struggles were invisible, because she was deemed a fake heiress. Quickly, I snatched Jack's phone, added him on chat, and shooed him out before he could say anything outrageous. Lily watched him go. The empty room bathed in the sunset, filled with floating dust. My chest tightened, sadness welling up. Jack's a decent guy from a good family, perfect for marriage, Lily remarked. Snapping back to reality, I met her serious gaze, cheeks flushed. Lily put down her purse, picking up a fruit knife to peel fruit for me. Her nails elegantly painted, but these hands once fought through flames to save me, pushing me away from death. 2. I won't covet your things. What you deserve will remain yours. Once everything is over, I'll leave this city. Lily handed me a peeled apple with her slender, delicate hand. I looked at the apple calmly, my thoughts wandering. How's the acquisition of Ben's shares going? I suddenly asked in the quiet hospital room. Lily hesitated with her bag in hand, looking at me with deep suspicion and distrust. How did you know I was acquiring Ben's shares? I ignored her, just reaching into her crocodile leather bag and pulling out a pack of cigarettes. I lit a mint-flavored lady cigarette in the room, the smoke slowly filling the air. Lily, you really want to leave your family, don't you? I said softly through the haze of smoke. Lily looked at me through the smoke for a while, then lit a cigarette herself. I misjudged you. I laughed quietly. Why not marry Matt? Weren't you two childhood friends? I asked, curious as I looked at Lily's pretty profile. In my past life, Matt and I were indeed engaged, but Matt obviously preferred Lily. Yet Lily resisted Matt's attention, to the point where they even rarely talked. It's because we grew up together that I know what's behind Matt's gentleman facade. Lily sighed, looking at me with deep eyes. He likes seeing girls fight over him, but I'm not into that. To me, whatever walks away is trash. Whatever can be taken away is garbage. I'm not interested, nor do I have the time to wait for a man to shower me with attention. If I'm interested, I'll tease. If not, I just leave it aside. I nodded in agreement, coldly stubbing my cigarette out in the flower pot. This life is short like a fart, so it's all about being happy. Lily looked startled, as if not expecting such a phrase from my gentle demeanor. She looked down, taking a deep drag. But that's how society and this class works. Marriage alliances become the best business collaborations. Your father and Ben are not easy to deal with. Be careful. I nodded. In my last life, when Matt rejected me, I refused to marry him and to succumb to his family's disdain, only to be drugged by Ben with a glass of wine and tied into a wedding car. I liked Matt, but it didn't mean I would sacrifice everything for him. My freedom, identity, status, shares, everything I had with the Liu family disappeared with that glass of wine from a relative. Lily snuffed out her cigarette, lingering in the sight of the sunset outside the window. The sky was like paper washed with red ink, with fleeting glimpses of white at the edges. Birds cut through the boundless sky, attempting to tear through the calm yet turbulent surface with their sharp claws. But that was futile, at least without help. When Matt pushed the door open, Lily and I were discussing acquiring land in the southern part of the city. Hearing the door, we quickly fell silent. MIA, how are you? Why did you suddenly faint in the street? Matt's voice was full of panic, yet his expression was calm, with no trace of sincerity in his tone. I stared at him with deep, dark eyes, before finally offering a faint smile. I saw from Matt's expression that he could hear the mockery in my voice. His brow furrowed almost imperceptibly. Then he turned his fire toward Lily. It's true that MIA and I are engaged, but that's a family matter. I know you're always strong-willed, but there's no need to destroy what you can't have, or sow discord between us. Lily's big, dark eyes rolled dramatically. So, how about we go shopping tomorrow? I heard there's a new jewelry store downtown. I leaned against the bed, smiling at Lily. She nodded knowingly. I'm busy tomorrow. How about you invite Jack? Aren't you too close? Lily said, blowing the dust off her red nails. My eyes widened, brimming with gossip. Busy. Are you going on a date with Ethan? Lily, less composed than her usual self, blushed. We're all busy with work. We can only meet during these few days. She sighed, playfully showing me her phone, letting me see the sweet messages between her and Ethan. Despite there being 3 people present in the hospital room, Matt was completely ignored by us. Matt, always image-conscious, couldn't bring himself to yell questions due to his upbringing, only quietly fuming and turning to address us. What are you discussing? I can come shopping with you tomorrow to improve our relationship. The situation had changed. I laughed, holding Lily's hand warmly. Why don't you come with us too? You and him can have your date, so I won't eat dog food alone. Let me also see what your future husband looks like to give some input. Lily pondered for a moment, glancing at me briefly with a cryptic expression before nodding simply. Matt's expression wasn't great, but he likewise calmly set a time with us. Fighting back nausea, I recalled Matt's disgusting behavior in my previous life. After my car accident, he made such a gross face when inviting me shopping, claiming it was to help me relax. Then, once I was drunk, he carried me to a hotel. Afterward, he shamelessly said it was because he loved me. He said, love is something you can't control. I hesitantly kept in contact with Matt, but never questioned why I, normally a good drinker, got so drunk on just one small glass of red wine. Until one day, feeling disheartened and on my journey, I met a couple who had loved each other for decades. I remember, atop the snow-capped mountains, the man held his lover close and smiled saying, love is the premise of rationality. Because I love you, I won't do anything that might harm your reputation, interests, or even your family. Because of love, there's rationality. After a fortnight of gloomy weather, Los Angeles finally got some rare sun. With my canvas bag, I stood at the bus stop. A moment later, I saw Matt walking over with a sour face. Why choose a place like this? Cars can't reach here. What if you're tired? Lily shouldn't get everything she wants. Matt spoke indifferently, with thinly veiled attempts to sow discord between Lily and me. Smiling back, I replied, No, I think this place is great. Lily initially wanted to go to the mall, but I thought it would be better to shop here first. Then, feigning nonchalance, I half covered my mouth. Walking so long must have tired you out. No need for formalities with me. I've heard quite a few young people in your circle have kidney issues. My dad has some goji berry tea. I'll bring it over tomorrow. Matt's face changed, as sharp as a dagger. I gave a gentle, harmless smile, like a lamb awaiting slaughter, patiently waiting for the butcher's knife. After all, you don't hit a smiling face. Matt gritted his teeth, turning away angrily. Lily, over here. I suddenly rose on my toes, waving my frail arms, catching Matt's eyes glued to my wrist. Moments later, Matt smirked, examining me with a sinister gaze. Realizing I noticed, he turned to look at Lily instead, only to freeze. Lily is this independent woman, who doesn't like to bother others for stuff she can do herself. In her social interactions, she's got this strong vibe, but in just the right way. Her wardrobe is mostly filled with cool tones, the most common piece being long trench coats. But here she is in a light pink hoodie, with only a hint of makeup on her delicate face under the hood, holding a big oil cotton candy instead of the usual cigarette or document. The man next to her, dressed simply, still radiates an undeniable charisma. His righteous aura sort of dampens Matt's immaturity. Lily's boyfriend seems to be a cop. It's true, great people do attract each other. Matt looks at Lily, who's all smiles, and then at Ethan holding a bag nearby, his face looking unusually bad. I get why. Over the years, Lily was neither warm nor cold to Matt, and there were never any rumors about her. With both families' engagement in play, Matt always assumed Lily liked him. He was probably pretty smug about it too. An ordinary yet self-assured fool. Sorry we're late. Got caught in traffic, Lily says, smiling brightly while Ethan beside her shakes his head in bemusement. She introduces me, her sister MIA. Lily nudges Ethan with her elbow, and he turns beet red, not expecting to meet the family so soon. He awkwardly calls me sis. Lily hits him playfully. How can they both be such goofs? Really? Hi. I nod politely and pull Lily into the nearby jewelry store. Ethan is a patient and gentle guy. Him and Lily have been together long enough to not have any arguments, which says a lot. While we try clothes on inside, Ethan and Matt are outside holding our bags. Maybe because Lily doesn't like him, Matt starts to get all passive-aggressive and tries to stir things up between Lily and Ethan. Matt puts down a handbag, giving Ethan, who's diligently picking clothes for Lily, a look before blurting out, "So, you and I look quite alike." Ethan looks confused at first, needing a moment to realize Matt is talking to him. "What?" Ethan asks, puzzled. Matt vaguely gestures at the mirror, asking, "Don't you think we look a lot alike?" Ethan takes a thoughtful glance at the mirror, then turns back to Matt with a skeptical look, saying, "We both have a nose and two eyes, don't we?" Matt is taken aback, the words catching in his throat. He grinds his teeth, silently cursing Ethan's simplicity, before casually saying, "Even though Lily can't let go of me, she did steal me as life. Not marrying her is a big regret of mine." Who knew she'd hold on to these feelings in such a way? Ethan sees the satisfaction in Matt's expression and just smiles, amused. Holding Lily back from marching out and decking Matt with all my strength, I managed to keep her from breaking out. Since when did this fierce career woman become such a lovesick girl in relationships? Matt, I don't get what you mean, but Lily and I have been happy together for 3 years. She's a great girl, and I only know her for who she is. Please don't badmouth her in front of me, Ethan says, friendly face unyielding, ice cold in tone. Lily calms her restless movements, then relaxes, burying her head in my neck, whispering as she breathes deeply, "How do I love Ethan so much?" I laugh out loud and then abruptly stop. "The real estate project in the south of the city, how's that going?" "If you need help, I've got some millions hanging around," I say, patting Lily's shoulder. She's been secretly buying up some troubled land for the project, and isn't flush with cash. It's kind of funny. Ben prides himself as the sole heir of the family, yet manages family affairs like they're a sticky mess. Recently, he's been splurging on this cellist, lavishing her with solo concerts, and suddenly found himself out of funds. effectively pausing construction on that southern plot. Lily shakes her head. Don't worry, I've got plenty of money left. Just be careful checking out those things. Don't let those old foxes on the board know. Lily's moving her stuff over to jewelry and real estate, which soon enough won't be the only startup income. Once those suburban homes start turning a profit, I can hand over all the info I've got. In a past life, this family wrecked us both. This time, I'll see it shattered. It seems fair. The meal eventually ends with Matt giving off mixed signals. After saying goodbye to Lily and Ethan, I quickly cut off Matt's complaints and called Jack to pick me up. Matt grumbled. Why'd you call Jack? Aren't I right here? I smiled calmly. You've had a long day, huh? I'll see you tomorrow with Dad's goji berries. Don't worry. Matt's face darkened, but with so many people around, he couldn't really lash out, so he just pasted on a hollow smile. As the car's exhaust hit Matt square in the face, I shut the window, dropping my smile. My eyes glared at the rearview mirror, locking onto Matt's frustration, while music from the radio played on. Everything that kills me makes me feel alive. I looked out the window, fingers tapping to the music's beat on the glass next to me. Those who wish to kill me only bring me new life, I thought. In another life, I was defeated, a lifeless form in the wilderness. But now, I'd be the relentless hound, tearing through every beast blocking my way. Jack drove silently, like words were stuck in his throat. After a while, he awkwardly asked, "Were you and Matt out on a date?" I snapped back to see him, then suddenly chuckled. "No, Lily and I went shopping today." Lily with her boyfriend. Didn't want to be a third wheel. Jack subtly exhaled in relief, and then his words poured out like floodwaters. I pulled out my tablet calmly, opened up the stock page, planning to take a chunk out of Matt's family. Before the page even loaded, Ben's call interrupted, his name on the screen bringing back an old sense of disgust. "MIA, where are you? Did you and Matt have a fight?" Matt called Dad saying you embarrassed him with Lily and some random guy. "Dad's mad. You should come back." His words almost made me grit my teeth to dust. Wow, the way some people can twist the truth is insane. Just a few words from Ben, and suddenly Lily and I are the villains in a drama. I kept my cool and replied a few times, almost dropping my phone, because of Ben's uncalled-for advice. Jack got a shock, mistaking the brake for the gas pedal, and that flashy Rolls-Royce blindly sped out from every angle of constant surveillance. Is this guy for real? I shot Jack a horrified look as he fumbled around, but thankfully, he can drive well enough to park the car safely in our backyard. I carefully walked up the slick stone steps with Jack hovering behind me. As the sun burned off the mist, I felt like I was suffocating for the first time. I could hear yelling from inside the house, so I hurried to the door and shoved it open. An expensive ashtray whizzed past my head, and I couldn't help but yelp. "Oh no, MIA, are you okay? Come on in, come in." Ben, looking terrified, pulled me into the messy house. Lily was holding a fake medical record, kneeling in the middle of the room, listening to someone scold her. Once inside, I could see the bruises and swelling on her face. Her beautiful face was cut by a broken vase, and blood was streaming down as the culprit, Matt, lounged on the sofa, watching Lily. I lowered my eyes full of hate, sneaking over to Lily's side, and took a deep breath before wailing dramatically. "Matt, how could you do this?" Pushing Lily into the water and then trying to blame her. My father's hand paused in the air, the suspicion in his eyes shifting towards me. Matt was stunned silent by my bizarre claim, fumbling for something to say. I cried louder, stomping on Jack's foot even harder. "Isn't that right, Matt? Just because Lily got herself a boyfriend, doesn't mean you can go around making up stories. I heard you called her boyfriend a no-good liar, and said Lily made you look bad. How is that fair?" Jack snorted, his nose in the air. Matt's face twisted for a moment before he looked ready to say something, but backed down, appearing oddly pathetic. "And, I remember Lily's never liked you. Yet, you tried to get cozy at the dance and convinced other girls to isolate her. Do you love watching people fight over you or something?" Jack's family's got deep roots in New York City. There's no way Ben would risk breaking ties with them over Matt. If Jack decided to take things further, Matt would be thrown under the bus for sure. The guy sneered softly. "I never meant that." I don't know why Jack would say such things. "Did someone tell you otherwise?" His eyes full of disdain landed on me. "I mean, seriously, Matt. Do you have some persecution complex? You think everyone's out to get you like you're the main character or something?" Jack clearly couldn't stand his act, spitting on the floor. "Stop trying to mess things up. You got split personality or what? Think everyone's gunning for you?" Matt's anger was palpable, but seeing the servants watching from the sidelines, he kept it together. I wiped away non-existent tears and walked over to Lily, helping her up. But Lily pushed me away, using the coffee table to stand. It looked more like they were the ones being bullied. Ben's expression shifted multiple times before settling as he lightly reassured Lily, "Lily, don't take this to heart. Dad was just worried, trying to keep peace between the families." "Worried about what?" Lily cut him off, her eyes cold as eyes fixed on Ben. Her gaze swept over everyone in the room. My father harshly told her to shut up, but Lily ignored him, shedding her wine-stained coat in the dim light. Her fitted sports top outlined her figure, and I noticed Ben and Matt couldn't help but stare. "What are you afraid of?" "That I think for myself, that I might fight back, that I'm educated, that I think critically. Ever since I was little, you've hated that I'm better at everything. My work outshines yours. I scored higher on exams, and I've always been more social. Don't think I didn't notice your sabotage." Lily's been putting up with the Liu family's nonsense for over 2 decades, and she finally snapped today. Her trembling finger pointed at our father. "And you, don't think I don't know how Mom died. You were so greedy for success that you sent your wife to be tormented to death. You've never respected me, even though I'm better than Ben, because I'm just a girl, not your heir. So, all the good stuff goes to Ben. You're pushing me towards Matt for his family's shares. But Matt is a two-faced jerk. I've made it clear I'm not into him, yet he acts like we're a couple outside. Do you think you're fooling anyone with your high and mighty act? Did you ever stop to think that my life's purpose isn't just to be some guy's housewife? I have my own career and future." Lily's chest heaved with anger, and I laughed as I watched the varied reactions from everyone in the room. In the past, Lily had never spoken about our mother's death. Our father had always told the world it was a heart attack, but who could guess the real story was this grim? And to think, someone like him would use his daughter as a bargaining chip, not to mention his wife. Matt's face twitched at being called a two-faced jerk before he composed himself, though he looked as sour as a lump of coal. "Lily, that's not fair," Ben cut in. "Dad and I just want the best for you. You're a girl, what else can you do but have kids? Admit it, men are at the top of the pile in this world." Ben gave her a supposedly fatherly look, but there was no more amusement in his eyes. His words had grown bolder. "What nonsense, Ben." Ben blinked, stunned, not expecting that to come from me. "Did you hear me, Ben? What nonsense?" When Ben didn't answer, I repeated myself, impatiently. "MIA, how can you talk like that? I'm your brother. Show some respect for your elders and kindness for your juniors." The self-righteous tone in Ben's voice made me want to vomit. Did you care about respect or kindness when you were spouting that women are only good for making babies? I shrugged, unfazed. Ben frowned. "What's the point?" I burst out laughing. "Oh, so the one who gave birth to you isn't a girl, it's a guy, huh? How did this medical miracle happen in our family?" Jack chuckled softly, and Ben stammered, struggling to say anything back. "So you're saying only women can give birth? Isn't Lily better than you at everything? You can't beat her in skills, and yet you're being sexist. Is this what your awful dad taught you? Your dad is selfish, misogynistic, and mindless, and you've learned it all perfectly. People would think I traveled back to the Qing dynasty. What's in your head? Electrical wires, giving off a spark and blowing your brain out." My dad slammed the table in anger. "How dare you? Oh, should I kneel and apologize to you now? A guy who walked over others by selling his wife has the nerve to talk to me. How thick is your skin?" Dad raised his cane, about to hit me, but I quickly grabbed it. The slightly overweight man stumbled. Matt hurried over to help my dad and kept scolding me for being unfilial. According to him, no one would ever like girls like me and Lily. How is it any of your business whether or not someone likes me? I'm not marrying you. Oh wait. Matt likes girls who compete for him. Are you so twisted inside that you use this stuff to prove your charm? I emphasized charm heavily, while Jack laughed behind me like a cackling hen. The room was silent except for Dad's breathing. "And you, who are you to point fingers at me? Don't act like I've been living off your family's money. I've barely been back for a few days and you've started gossiping. Can't you see I'm avoiding Matt? But you're shoving me toward him." I turned to face my biological father again. His lips were turning blue, and he looked like he might burst with anger. "Do you never fear Mom will come for you in the middle of the night? When you're living it up with different women, do you ever think of Mom? Did she hate you when you pushed her away? Did she regret marrying you when she died on another man's bed? Dad, think about how you'll face Mom when you head to hell. How will you look her in the eye?" Dad's breathing grew more rapid, his short, thick fingers clinging to the leather sofa, his eyes shooting out unbelievable malice. I poured myself some tea and drank it, then draped a blanket over Lily, and we left together as if no one else was there. Behind us was the family that trapped me for so long. It was the start of my new life, because I heard Lily's cold voice say, "It's over." For the next 3 months, Lily and I cut off all contact with the family. I snapped the bank card they gave me and sent it back to Ben via cash on delivery. Lily's work pace accelerated, and I heard the family business's cash flow suddenly hit a snag. I stopped looking into Matt and focused on investigating Ben's embezzlement. Looking at the piles of photos and documents on the desk, I grinned. Ben, what a perfect example of wasted potential. Gambling, women, drugs, scams, theft, almost all the boxes checked. Especially the company embezzlement. Even being just $30 million, the act alone was heinous enough. Just when I was ready to contact the media and release the news, Lily came back to the office looking devastated. I watched her walk in dazedly, knocking over a flower pot. The broken pieces cut her smooth leg, and blood trickled down her pale skin into her red heels like a snake. I jumped up, staring at Lily. Her eyes were swollen, clearly having just cried. What's wrong, Lily? Trouble with the bid. Property market, not looking good. Did Ben come for you? She stared blankly at the corner of the room, shaking her head like a madwoman. I scanned the room, confused, then asked her cautiously, did you fight with Ethan? Did he hurt you? Tell me, I'll beat him up for you. I rolled up my sleeves, ready to fight. Unexpectedly, Lily broke down crying, burying her face in her white sweater, her trembling shoulders changing pace, slow to intense. A bad feeling rose in me, chilling my mind. What's going on? Talk to me. I hurriedly tried to pull her arms away, to rescue her tear-stained face from the sweater. She gasped for air, clutching my sleeve like a child denied candy they were promised. Sis, Ethan, he died in the line of duty. I felt a volcano erupt in my mind, leaving my ears ringing. I stared at Lily, in pain, mouthing her words. What did you say? Lily caught her breath and collapsed onto the floor, looking up at me. Ethan died while chasing someone, got stabbed 4 times in broad daylight. He was dead when they brought him to the hospital due to blood loss. I stumbled back, looking mournfully at my sister teetering on the edge of sorrow. Ethan was gone. A chilling autumn rain saw this officer off. Ethan, who had no family. His parents had divorced and remarried, in a massive city like New York. Only the Force and Lily knew him well. Lily wore a long black coat, her tears long dried, crouching in front of the cold gravestone. Jack and I took a respectful step back. Jack sighed, watching me eerily. What's up? I looked quizzically at my occasionally bizarre lover. Will you leave me? Hearing this, I paused, staring at this seemingly strong man. I shook my head. Not right now. Jack raised an eyebrow, pinning me against a tree trunk. Why not now and not never? I gazed at him in the patter of rain and replied, I love you now. So I don't want to leave you now. But we can't predict the future. MIA, I can't promise you forever. A lifetime is long. It's rare for people to stay together forever. Jack stayed silent for a long time, then hugged me, his voice a bit pouty. I can promise you. I smiled, not commenting further. Promises can sometimes be more helpless than white paper. Through the curtain of rain, I saw Lily pull a small red booklet from her pocket, meticulously writing something inside. The rain soaked her clothes and surely the booklet too. In front of his grave, can you tell if that's rain or tears on your face? Lily trudged through the muddy puddles, taking one step deep and another shallow, as she approached us. It had only been a few days, but meeting her again felt like forever. Got everything ready. Once the suburban real estate opens for sale, we can launch everything. Make sure to send info to several newspapers. I've already secured a PR team. The trending news will definitely be about the Ben family. Lily asked me seriously. I paused with my hand holding the bag. Sending info to more newspapers means being thoroughly prepared. It prevents people from thinking it's just a rumor, and gives our opponents more trouble. It's a risky move. If we play it right, Lily and I can withdraw successfully. If not, we'll go down with the entire family. But, with Jack backing me, this might be why Lily urged me and Jack to meet her parents yesterday. So now, Lily walks alone. Love can shatter emotional ties, and without emotion, you can break any situation. At 3 a.m., the Ben family dominated the Twitter hot search. Our father got slammed with complaints from employees over phone calls, from selling out my mother for personal gain to Ben embezzling funds. Realizing something was off, my father furiously called me. What are you up to? You traitors should have strangled you when we took you in. He was fuming, leaning against Jack's broad shoulder with a facial mask on. I chuckled and prepared to hang up. You deserved being taken away. Who told you to be a girl? Ethan deserved to be stabbed. My mind snapped awake. Holding the phone firmly to my ear, I asked, how do you know Ethan died in service? Did you hire someone? The line went silent, then there was only the beeping sound. I angrily tossed the phone away. My father couldn't have known about Ethan, as Lily kept their relationship tightly wrapped, never mentioning Ethan to the Liu family. how would he know? Unless I picked up Jack's phone and called a private investigator. In less than 2 hours, my email received a new message. Quickly scanning through it, I felt as if I plunged into an icy abyss. Ethan shouldn't have died. The Matt family's tax evasion was uprooted by legal authorities, implicating numerous companies across New York City. Ben was sentenced to 17 years for embezzlement, and likely won't have the power to cause trouble upon release. As for my father, Jack got me the best lawyer, and today, MIA, am determined to send my own father to prison. Once everything was settled and the suburban properties were open, the picturesque view by the mountains and lakes attracted many buyers. Lily and I made a fortune instantly. Before visiting the prison, I sent a copy of the investigator's email to Lily. She looked at the content calmly, then wearily set down her phone. "That's it," she said. "He's gone, so what's the point? Ethan may be dead, but I haven't forgotten him. His life hasn't quite reached its end. Loving him is enough for me." That was the saddest, most painful, yet deepest confession I've ever heard. Death is not the end, forgetting is. So I'll remember you always. Epilogue. Lily's monologue. I once loved someone, and I still do. He was a great police officer, honest, brave, gentle, and could easily see through my fierce facade. But he's gone. We once promised to buy a big house in the suburbs, plant lovely lotuses, and raise a couple of pets to live peacefully ever after. I never thought that such a life would become a luxury, so I bought a unit in the development I created, choosing the one with the best light and quietest location. 7 years after opening the company, I handed it over entirely to MIA and Jack, and moved to the outskirts alone. I got 2 big dogs. One, silly and a bit dumb, reminded me a lot of him, but eventually, that dog also died of old age. I buried it beneath the mud of the lotus pond. At 38, I fell seriously ill, unable to eat or drink, becoming a shadow of my former self. Looking at my reflection in the hospital mirror, tears silently streamed down my face. If I saw him again, he wouldn't recognize me. Touching the fine lines near my eyes, I saw how time left less gentle marks on me. Holding on to just a couple of years' worth of memories I survived for decades. On Christmas, MIA unexpectedly asked me to go see the sea. Packing my bags, I booked a flight to Hawaii. Once off the plane, Mia's daughter, Emma, rushed into my arms, calling me aunt. With a smile, I realized I'd grown old without noticing. Jack carried himself with more dignity over the years, and after having children, MIA threw herself into work, and they seemed happily in love, envy and jealousy stirring within me. If he'd survived, we might have had kids too. If only he were alive. The Hawaii coastline was winding. We strolled along the beach, our toes sinking into the sand as I felt a wave of relaxation. I'd read in a medical magazine that blood replaces itself every 7 years. Why, even with fresh blood, couldn't I forget him? Watching fireworks burst across the sky, dazzling yet brief, like our fleeting love, the salty sea breeze carried the couple's murmurs before me. Holding Emma's hand, I glibly listened to her chatter. On this night, some watched the sea, and some were loved. Time had not been kind to me. In my 40s, white hair began to speckle my head. To comfort me, MIA dragged me to a salon to dye it. She bleached her hair and shook her fluffy head asking if I wanted to look like a chow chow. I thought back to the dog buried under the lotus pond. In my 50s, Jack and MIA retired, passing the large company to Emma and buying a house nearby mine. We became neighbors. Jack, never serious, would climb trees with the neighborhood kids searching for bird nests, only to be chased back by angry bird mothers. Watching from my rocking chair, I laughed out loud. Laughter soon brought tears to my eyes. MIA tried to put a white pearl clip in my hair, and I dodged her playful hands. "Come on, just wear it for a bit. You dress so gloomy, add some white to liven things up." Silently, I looked at my black clothes. After Ethan's passing, MIA tried setting me up with new suitors, but I just couldn't move past it. I feared that anyone I'd meet would have his traces, but not be him. That disparity, I couldn't handle. Better to not drag another guy into it. Eventually, MIA stopped bringing it up. The idea of setting me up completely dismissed. Feeling a jab of pain on my scalp brought me back to the present, as MIA still tried pinning the clip in my hair. "Sorry about that, Lily." For decades, she still called me Lily, but I've grown old. 4 years, we lived like this in our suburban garden, until one day MIA got the sudden urge to go on a senior sunset trip. My health wasn't great, so I waved them off to go without me. 60-something MIA walked arm in arm with 60-something Jack ahead, and there I was, in my 60s, standing right where I was. I might be stuck here for good. I listened to MIA earnestly telling Emma to visit me often, and suddenly found myself laughing. Since then, Emma's dropped by now and then. Sometimes she helps me tidy up the lotus pond. Sometimes she trims the overgrown vines. I watched the stars and morning light trade places, counted the changing seasons through the life cycle of the ivy, and paused in the summer amidst the blooming pink lotuses. I watched the red sunset cast shadows of ivy on the wall, and slowly closed my eyes. The pond water hadn't been changed yet. I felt Ethan holding me. I could almost smell his youthful minty scent again. He said, "Lily, will you come with me?" The fan slipped from my hand. A tear rolled down my cheek, smoothing out the wrinkles as it shimmered. "Ethan, I've come to find you." That year, I quietly slipped away during the peak of the lotus bloom, lived to a ripe old age, yet passed alone. The end.